G'day everyone, we're back with another night of VCS action here for you. My name is Everyday Hero. With me as always is Yulwei. How are you tonight, man?
Yeah, hello. Very excited. We will finally get to see not every team, but four teams playing their second series. So we have a bit of referencing points. Look how trends go in the early part of the season. So that's always very interesting to look at, I think.
Absolutely. You get a lot more contact how a team looks when you get to see them play twice.
And especially interesting for me today, I think that it is the pick and ban phase. We saw four very, very different series in terms of pick and bans. So now looking at those team playing against each other through different matters might be very interesting there. As you just see the
Yep.
starting lineups, same as yesterday for Cerberus, no change coming in for them after their pretty weak performance yesterday, I would say. So far they are sticking with this starting lineup: Knight in the jungle, Yado in the mid lane.
Yeah, I think the thing for Cerberus, I don't think it was necessarily individual player failure.
Yeah,
It was just sort of a whole team collapse. They didn't seem to know what they wanted to do after 10 minutes. They had I think before 10 minutes they looked really organized, but afterwards it
yeah,
just
I have to agree. And I think while it might be hard to fix this immediately, it's still the better look compared to, say, something like QTV, I think, who will play in the second series today, who just didn't look like they could match Dashing Buffaloes in lane. So I always think the teams that have a good early game but then falter in the mid and late game are more have more potential, because you can't really fix your laning phase that easily. There are just some mechanics that you can't learn after if you're not good enough. So
yeah, absolutely. But straight into picking bans here, no delay. Yasuo first ban here from Cerberus, followed by Sejuani. Sejuani's obviously a very standard ban.
yeah,
Yasuo's not too out of left field. Like he certainly sees play. I think we saw Cerberus banning him out a lot yesterday. So they're obviously just not they don't want to play Gragas Yasuo,
yeah.
and they don't want to play against it. So far, these bans are looking very standard.
I think so far in VCS we have seen an over prioritization. I'm sorry for that word, of Yasuo, because he has only seen one game and he didn't look that effective. I think some teams are too scared of this champion. We'll see how that evolves in the next few weeks.
Yeah, Yasuo is certainly very feast or famine. Um,
Yeah,
Either kind of carries the game or almost doesn't exist. Karma taken out as well by Cerberus. They had the option of leaving that open and maybe first picking it, but fair enough if they just want to take it away and first pick something else.
yeah. What's set up for the first pick here? We have had Cerberus playing in terms of meta champs, Nico maybe, Isaiah. They do
Aurelia?
looks as she's actually open. Why did they ban
Yeah, Italy was the
Nidalee?
last ban. That must be a target ban
Yeah, that's just a free
at, I
giveaway.
presume, no. Yeah, Aurelia first pick. That's not something I would want to give
Okay.
away.
Okay, so now Renekton.
Renekton.
I
We've seen some pretty good looking Renekton's in the VCS so far.
Yeah,
They
that's very
they
true.
like him, especially with an Elise.
I don't know. Renekton is a good pick into Irelia as well. So maybe they wanted this matchup in the top lane, and now Elise Renekton. That's the most famous dive top composition. To be fair, Irelia not the easiest champion to dive, so not sure if they want to pursue this path, but they could with those two champions there.
The danger, of course, is that Irelia could still go to Yado here. It doesn't have to go
Yeah,
top.
very true, very true.
And also Lee Sin being locked in ahead of quite a few other junglers, I would have thought were maybe higher priority. Knight, I think, he's here to play. He wants to show off those mechanics.
I have to say, I really don't like Lee Sin into Elise. I think the matchup is pretty favored to the Elise. I think she can burst him, he can never burst her. So, not too happy with the Lee Sin pickup there.
Yeah, it's certainly interesting. And I'm very much surprised by picking up Kai'Sa
Yeah,
when you could have had
yeah.
Xayah, which we
Especially,
see is the instant back.
Especially looking at Celebrity, he has only played Zaya so far, and he got, I think, both of the MVPs of the official broadcast. We were not too happy with his Kai'Sa, Zaya, I should say, yesterday, but he posted very good stats. So yeah, Celebrity getting the Zaya the third time in a row. He only has to play one champ on stage. Very comfortable, I think, looking at this game once again.
Yep, I think that's a very good point. Looking at the bans, Nico and Kennen taken out, I think that might hint that Loki doesn't think that this is going to be a top lane Irelia.
Or they want to
Um,
force it into the top lane, because yeah,
that's
they
also
want to
that's
give
also
their Crocodile the best matchup possible. Good bans, I like those. On the other side, we
I
could
like that.
see.
Rakan and Alistair, I think that's an interesting ban. I think I like the Rakan ban taking out the lovers lane. If you don't want to play Rakan, I think you sort of have to do that. But Alistair is an interesting one to me. Like, I don't think that pinches the support pool. I think
Yeah,
there's still
Alistair.
luck available.
Oh yeah, we maybe we'll get. Oh yes,
I
the
love it.
Fnatic special. Yeah, let's go for that.
All right, I'm gonna ask you a question. You can't possibly get it corrected. Well, you can't possibly know that you'll be right in. Does he build Trinity Force or Rod of Ages?
I think it's Trinity Force. I'd like
I
to see
hope.
Trinity Force because especially with Elise in the jungle, I think as I always talk about the damage profile, Elise and ADTF strong combination there, even especially for dives in the other lanes as well. So I'd like to see the TF going AD in this game.
I
That being
agree.
said, three AD carries then. They need a bit of AP damage coming out of the support. Maybe something like the Nico, not Nico, I'm sorry, the Yumi to up their AP damage as well in this comp. Only Elise might not be enough there. So
Yeah, and it does look like it will be that Irelia mid if Rumble gets locked in, and he is. Well, actually, that's not entirely true. Rumble can go mid. This is still technically flexes,
they
but I
pick
think it's much more likely we'll
another
see Yano
Rumble
on.
into Renekton. I really don't like Rumble into Renekton, especially not if Renekton is paired up with something like Elise. We saw yesterday the Rumble actually getting a first, the first blood in the top lane in the 1v1. But then he got absolutely murdered because his flash was blown in the play, and then yeah, the enemy team repeatedly ganked him, and he had nothing to say about that. So I'm not on the
Well,
Rumble hype train. I think on
well,
this
it was
patch.
it was YT that had that happen, so he might know. Hey, maybe flashing for that solo kill's not worth it because then I just get dove 3 times.
Yeah,
And he might also he's got a Lee Sin as his jungler, which I don't think it was last time, so there might be a bit more counter gank potential. I don't think the Rumble's a terrible pick, but I do think you're quite correct that picking it into the Renekton's pretty dangerous.
yeah, and
But overall, two pretty good comps, I think. I don't mind either of them.
it is another Nautilus support picked up against Lux, which I also don't really like. I think Yumi was the easier choice in this. Yeah, why would you go for Nautilus there? It's more engaged, obviously, for team fights, but it's also weaker laning phase, especially into Lux. I think Nautilus against Aftershock and Lux can never really threaten anything in the lane, and then you'll just give up some lane control because you're melee into ranged in terms of support matchups. So n- not too keen on the Nautilus down there.
I think it's a nod to the fact that their jungler is Elise, because if I'm not mistaken, if Nautilus and Lux throw their Q at the same time and both hit, Nautilus still goes.
Yeah, I think that's how the
Which
interaction
means he
goes. Yeah.
gets the base, which means he gets the basic attack off. And if there's an Elise in the lane at the same time, even an Aftershock Lux is dead.
Yeah, might be
Um,
true. Might be true.
but the problem comes, of course, if DNK can't find a gank on the bot lane, then it is just a melee support versus a ranged, which is obviously not ideal.
Yeah, and if you pick this champ to set up kills in the bot lane, yeah, I don't think this is the game plan for Loki. Looking at the champions, like why would you try to get kills in the bot lane where you have a safe scaling ADC? While you have two solo laners with immediate target CC, who are very good gank assistant assistance for the Elise. So I think the focus for DNK in this game should lie on the solo lanes. Artifact with Gold Card and Hani with his W stun.
I think that's true until level 6. I think post level 6, you obviously don't want to be ganking mid because you want to be ganking top or bot
that's very
with
true.
which is. I agree with you that I think Nautilus was an interesting pick. Yuumi was open. I think I would have preferred the Yuumi pick, but I think the logic was that it does set them up for brawls in the bot lane, which might be something they want. Pretty standard starts though. Both junglers starting on the top side. They'll probably go for the early level 3, and we won't see a point of contention until the scuttle.
Yeah, yesterday we had some junglers very greedily clearing the whole jungle with Crux a second. So we had one very good invade, I think it was Yijin, if I remember correctly, who used this opportunity to steal away the enemy buff. No, it was in the game between Gam, where Kiaya jungled, and Kiaya immediately got 3 buffed by the enemy jungler. So this game seems to be more standard in terms of pathing. That being said, Elise already ahead. If she invades now, she might have a chance to steal away the red buff. But it doesn't look like she wants to do that. Waits for the scuttle scrap here, but she will get the scuttle priority. And her bot lane has priority as well, so there is an opportunity to actually invade this. Knight might be a bit too fast though. Yeah, I think my Knight is ahead of time. Yeah.
Knight is aware that something might go down here as well. He was pinging on his buff.
I like this invade. I think this is smart.
Ooh,
Yado gets caught.
Just burns the cleanse. Just DNK was invading for the Raptors, saw that he had an opportunity to throw a cocoon.
Oh, now he has to be very careful. Luckily for him, Artifact picked up pace in the lane, so he's covering for him now, but DNK gets caught.
Yeah, this isn't good. He should be able to get away fairly easily because there's just 2 stuns coming in. The Sonic Wave probably... Oh, he goes over with the Ward Hop. The Repel... Oh, he hits a Spiderling with the Sonic Wave.
Yeah, that's
I think he would have gone.
One of the reasons why I don't like this matchup.
A lot of damage here. Flash Cocoon forces the flash out of the Irelia.
It's chaos! Oh man, all the flashes down. Now Knight comes out on top of him in this play in terms of jungle matchup because he didn't have to burn his flash. But, he gets caught once again.
Knight now getting dived on, and he goes down.
What is actually going on?
For the scuttle there was dangerous.
Very good thrown by Hani there. Nicely done.
Yeah.
Reading the map state and collapsing on the Lee Sin. So now big advantage early on for Loki. Sadly, Elise ended up on the wrong side of the map for her, so she can't re-invade the bot side, which is not cleared yet. No further jungle camps lost. Yado has no flash.
Yeah,
this should be very easy.
Ooh, good stun out of Yado, but a lot of damage, but go up into the repel, doesn't really matter. The burn will take down Yado. That's now 2 kills here for low-key. Venus was roaming up. He was a little bit late, but still, I like to see that he's leading bot lane. I think you have to do that as well.
Yeah, I have to say, I really like the bot lane so far from low-key. They played their matchup out insanely well. Pushed the early game, got a very good trade on level 2.
That's a double snare. Celebrity's taking a lot of damage, has to flash away. He's got that ignite burning, but Venus is going to clean up. He's going to get 2 kills here. I don't think Ron gets away.
No.
He's got his flash. There's a hook coming. We going into Hook City. We diving.
Venus.
It's getting a little dicey here. A lot of shields.
Yeah, but Ronop, he can't follow up. Man, this is the slaughter so far. Loki looking really strong. We weren't sure who was the strongest team so far, but Loki going 2-0 yesterday, and they are looking on track to repeat that and establish themselves in the upper echelons of teams here in the VCS. Very good mid and bot lane performance so far out of the Loki team. I think I especially like, as I alluded to earlier, the bot lane moves so far on the map. So how does Knight? Why does Knight go there? I think he wants to re-invade the enemy, and then quite frankly, not very good communication out of Cerberus. Didn't call the missing top laner there, or too late on the call. And Hani with a very good capitalization from the top lane as well.
That looked like poor communication. Knight just didn't realize he might be running into a crocodile, which is not really good enough because I think it was a pretty obvious contest point. But Yeah, low-key looking really good so far. They've got 2 winning lanes. Top is going fairly even. Like 1 CS in it, who really pretty irrelevant difference.
Yeah. Especially, yeah, this is one thing about the Rumble matchup. Rumble into Renekton is fine as long as you get to just lane and nothing else happens. That's why a lot of players actually like to play Rumble into Renekton, but it's very swingy. If Renekton ever gets the flash and the jungler groups up with him, Rumble can't defend himself. So that's why I really don't like to see a Rumble into Renekton. But so far, this game has not been about the top lane, so Rumble can farm away very happily against the Crocodile there.
Exactly.
Oh, very deep pink ward. Look at the pink ward. It might spot a lot of rotations coming out of Knight. Placed by DNK, I would guess. A very good vision control on the bottom side overall. Every important step there warded. I think they need one more ward at the Raptors. So if DNK has one more ward available, he doesn't, sadly. But yeah, they need one more ward to have perfect information about the bottom side jungle. Ooh.
That Sonic Wave probably should have hit, but never mind. Yeah, I mean, it's slowing down a little bit here. The next point of contention is probably the Dragon, but we do see a bit of a brawl up in the top lane. Equalizer was used, as was that Renekton ult. YT does come out on top, but
Yeah,
it's
Renekton can
fairly
reset.
reset time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And look at the TF. It looks like an AP TF this time. Building for an early Rod of Ages after completing his defensive item there in the Ninja Tabai. So it's much more of an utility into split pushing maybe TF. So far does not really deal any damage, but yeah, he's just there to hold the mid lane and react to plays, I think, contribute with his stun card. Mid lane has been very uninteractive, which is not great for Yado. He wants to go for the kills on the ETF, but yeah, with the early defensive itemization coming out of Artifact, I think there's no opportunity there for the mid laner from Cerberus.
Yep, I think you're entirely correct in that. If Yado goes in, I think he just gets gold carded. That is the very strong thing about Twisted Fate in any matchup. He can just sort of play safe, and even if he goes down a little bit in CS, which he isn't, he's actually a little bit ahead. If you go down a little bit, his passive generally means that he's still ahead in
Yeah,
gold.
100 CS is one kill extra for him, at least. It's, I think, 350 gold or something on average. Because he rolled 6 twice, so the average is slightly above 3. It's 3.5 or 3.6 or something like that. So engage.
Yeah, dice are weighted.
Look at there was no damage from Yado at all.
Yeah, it was a bold engage. It might have had potential for something to happen there had Artifact been alone, but he did have his jungler at his side. The TP in from Hani as well. It didn't really do much, but I think
very
it
much
just
preemptive TP, I think. No real need to go for the DP. I think they underestimated the tankiness of their TF there. They were seeing the all-in from Aurelia, and yeah, it was already. They were very scared of their mid laner going down, but then they realized that he's actually not taking any damage from the Aurelia, so a bit of a wasted TP there. At least they converted into an early dragon. They lose one plating on the top lane though, so overall an okay trade for Cerberus as well. But look at the gold difference. Look at the gold difference at 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's telling, isn't it? It's a 3k gold difference. That's not just 3 kills. 3 kills won't get you that mid. It's also just lane advantages.
A lot of
and also the jungle.
Yeah, the jungle. And the TF passive. I think jungle and TF are probably the most the biggest advantages looking at the gold outside of the kills, and that's a lot of gold. This is more than 3k gold at 20 minutes with only 3 kills going down. In terms of plating, there's one down bot, one down top, so that's only 320 gold. That can't be the reason for the gold lead.
Yeah, I think we've just got a situation where TF is high rolling on his Klepto.
Yeah. On Klepto, and he has his passive as well. Yeah, I think once he goes back, he should have the Rod of Ages completed, making him insanely tanky and with a strong AP as well. Oh, no, adaptation. Nice.
I was going
you got
to say
baited.
it, but I thought that's really silly. I was going to look really silly because I was going to say, well, it's just a sapphire and a ruby.
Yeah,
That's still
you're
shit.
right. But I also looked
Uh,
at his Q damage and I thought his Q damage was way too high for AD, for it to be AD. But maybe it's the adaptive force first transferring to AP, and then once he builds the first AD items, the adaptive force goes over to the AD, I should say. So I was baited by the Q damage, I have to say, not so much by the items. Man, now it's an ADTF. I'm not sure if he wanted to go ADTF from start. Looking at his mastery, usually ADTF goes Klepto. Oh, this is very dangerous. This is very
yeah,
dangerous for
Knight's
Cerberus.
just dead. Yeah, Twisted Fate gated in, but really just to claim the kill.
Man,
That was a
Knight has had an off game so far. He was the best performer yesterday in game 1, a 4-0 start on the Elise, looking like a perfect Thorn replacement. But this game has been really off. I think the re-invade there on the other side of the map after his side lost, the bottom side, his bot lane especially. He got caught. Now once again going for a kill while in range of Artifact's ultimate and not aware where DNK was anyway. So double mistake there.
Yeah, it was definitely a little bit over aggressive, and the unfortunate thing is he has to play a Lee Sin from behind now, which is a pretty ugly thing.
And we finally
So,
get to see your favorite Kaiser build. Sadly, it will probably lose this game, but we still finally get to see it.
I, I mean, I'm just glad it's not a Storm Raise.
Yeah.
Like, at least, yeah, as long as it's not a Storm Raiser, I'm happy enough. But I do, yeah, as said, I've said a few times, I think Manamoon is the best Kaiser build. I think the better pick from Cerberus instead of Manamoon Kaiser would have just been Sivir, but
The Kaiser
that's going
priority is pretty weird. They had the opportunity to pick away the Zaya as well. And looking at Celebrity with very comfortable Zaya games yesterday, I thought they would go for Zaya. For some reason, they prioritized the Kaiser. And yeah, so far it has not paid off for them.
No, it hasn't looked particularly impressive in the bot lane. He hasn't, to be fair to Easy Love, he hasn't got really any opportunity to do much.
But they have
He's sort
Kaiser,
of,
Lux, and lost lane priority early on, so that's already not a great performance. And they are not feeding, and they are even in CS still, but it's a bot lane that should have priority in the early game, and they lost everything in the early game in terms of priority there, so not the greatest look.
very
Ronopi
true. The Herald
also,
will be summoned
yeah.
bot, which we don't actually see very often.
It's 10 seconds before platings fall, so they still get the full plating gold from this channel. Nicely
Yep, and they
timed.
should get first turret too.
It's a bit risky there to proceed, but they get the first turret. Nice, and it's 1 second before the plating goes down, so they still get full gold there, accelerating the game even further, and now it's sitting at 5k gold lead at 14 minutes. Low-key looking really good today. Maybe even
Yeah, they
looking
are
like the best
low
team
key.
so far. I think this game has really impressed me. They have not made a single mistake, and playing this very comfortably, very good rotations, good communication. It looks like.
Yeah, this is really impressive from low key. They
This
looked
does
good in their
not
last
look
game
like
as well.
wildcard League of Legends, in my opinion. I think this is
Yeah,
quite high level coming out of Loki. To be fair to them, yeah, Cerberus is not looking too great and giving them a lot of gold too. Free
that's true, but like
Knight.
you have to, looking at their players as well, and Knight just gets absolutely blown up again.
I don't think there ever was a Lee Sin in this game. I've not seen one.
Yeah. Um, normally, I mean, he is the blind monk, so maybe Knight's playing with his monitor off.
I would hope so.
To be fair, but it's looked pretty harsh from Knight. To be fair to him, it is very difficult to play from behind into a Lee Sin when both of your solo lanes are kind of not having much of an impact.
Mm,
He is sort of being sold up the river, but he's also going into bushes he
but
shouldn't be
he's
going.
also the one who probably said he wanted to play Lee Sin, so I don't really want to give him that leeway because I don't like the Lee Sin pick. I think it's just an ego thing where the jungler says, "I want to play the Lee Sin. I think I can carry this game." And yeah, they should learn from this. Pick a better jungler. This matchup is not great for Lee Sin. He didn't do anything. He actually fed in the early game. So uh,
Yep.
go for something
Rek'Sai
more
was there.
safe. Go for Rek'Sai. Go for J4 even. I'm really surprised that we have not seen a single J4 in the VCS. He has fallen priority, but not being played anymore. So maybe
Yeah.
just go for J4. You can even go for we mentioned Rek'Sai earlier on before. So
Gragas was open.
Gragas is the better option.
Yeah, there was lots of junglers open. You certainly didn't have to go to Lee Sin. Um, Lee Sin being that, like, second or third strand jungler.
And,
Don't think it
I
would
don't
have
have a
happened.
problem with people playing Lee Sin on this patch, but I don't think Lee Sin into Elise is ever going to succeed if you don't get an early advantage on the Lee Sin. And it's very hard
It's
for him
true.
to get one. He clears less quickly, and he has a big disadvantage in the 1v1 because DNK on the Elise can just block his most important spell with one of his spiderlings. So it's not looking great. We already saw him chasing the Elise one time, and the spiderlings pretty much saved the Elise there. So to kill the Elise is very, very hard on the Lee Sin.
Absolutely. Ooh, Yado.
Oh no, Yado.
Ults, yeah. Hopefully hits that sneaky Evelyn that must have been around. That's who he's aiming at. Not a good look.
No.
As set up for a play towards topside. That's a
Oh, very
bad
nicely done.
equalizer. But Artifact is going golden. Does have to flash out, but he gets out clean.
That was a
Lots
good
of ult.
stopwatch. For once, a good stopwatch. We have seen so many weird,
Oh,
over-aggressive
Yano gets hooked
stopwatches.
here. He's getting stunned up by Renekton, but it doesn't go through quite as well. Knight goes down again. Just gets absolutely
Yeah,
rocked by
he's
the
less than a
Croc.
cannon minion right now. He really doesn't do
Yeah,
anything for his team.
yeah.
Wow, look at the
It's just
gold lead.
dirty
It's
out of
6-0. It's a perfect game so far for Loki.
Yeah, it is. We have perfect game potential. I only just noticed.
Yeah,
And I think it's real potential as well because I don't really see Cerberus taking anything.
no, it's
Loki's
Loki has to
playing
feed
well.
away kills if they don't get this. Yeah.
Yeah, they're just backing off. They could have gone for a fight there,
Oh,
but I
the
don't think it was worth
flash
it.
Q from Ronopi there, very aggressive.
Oh, Yado, you're just gone, son. Artifact will get
Ah,
that
Knight
kill.
is here
White team
again.
turned up on the
Knight
side.
will save
Knight's
the
here.
fight.
Cannon minion. Ignite going onto the Rumble. What was stunning him? Is that a Xayah bind?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I think so, yeah. They do get away. 2 kills. Could have been a lot worse there for Cerberus, but low key, looking like the unstoppable truck here.
Yeah.
9k gold lead.
And Knight came in to save the fight, and he once again had an insane impact there. We have to applaud him for his Lee Sin mechanics.
Yep, he W'd out, and well done. Didn't die.
At times.
It's an improvement.
Yeah, I think Cerberus will probably already talk about the next game because this game is not
Yep.
winnable anymore. Very clean from Loki. The only thing we have to judge them now for is how cleanly they can close out this game. They've secured 2 Mountain Drakes, so they can look for a very fast Baron. Looking at something like Elise and Isaiah and ADTF, a lot of Baron damage coming out of them. I have no idea
Yeah,
what
I don't.
Cerberus was thinking here, how they thought
Why
they
would
would.
they chase?
No.
Oh, it was a TF card that stopped the run.
Yeah.
I was wondering. I'm just not sure why they decided to chase. Like, surely you're in a massive gold deficit. You can't win that fight. You're always going to get turned on by Nautilus.
Yeah.
I don't like the
I think that
decision, but
it was just a last-ditch
desperation.
effort. Yeah. And now a third Mountain Drake. Oh no.
God,
The Baron will not
Baron,
like
I hope you're
this.
scared.
Yeah.
Baron glaring down the river at the dragons. Like, come on, guys, what the hell? Top lane tower as well goes down. I think we just see the setup for Baron probably after one recall for Artifact.
Yeah, and Loki can do whatever they want around Baron. If Cerberus tries to contest, they can just murder them instantly. If they don't contest, they kill the Baron in probably about 10 seconds or something like that. So they can rush it, they can wait for picks, they can do whatever they want. Please just don't be indecisive. You have such a big gold lead. You have 3 Mountain Drakes, so there's really no need to hesitate around the Baron. I'd like to see very assertive play out of Loki to close out this game. I
Yep,
give
I
Cerberus
agree.
3 more minutes in this game, I think.
I think the
More
only thing that could turn this. Oh, YT. I was about to say the only thing that could turn this was a Rumble ult in the Baron pit,
yeah, that's
but
not
that's not
happening.
going to be completed for about 40. Which, yeah, this is just. I assume that was a TF ult down to catch him with a gold card.
Yeah.
And now, what do? You defend the inhib or do you try and stop the Baron? Because you can't do both. I don't even think you can do one.
Don't really understand what the solo lanes for Loki were doing there, backing off. The TF is setting up something like a trap there. Okay,
Yeah.
there are not only 3 players now on the Baron, so this one needs more than 10 seconds, I think. But now
There's a
TP.
TF teleport though, and that's an AD TF.
Look
So
at the Baron. Oh man.
damage.
And then Knight's time to shine. No, but he W's out.
I mean, he went for it. At least he's not,
Yeah, commendable.
completely cowed by this game. He was never going to steal it from a Elise that's, 2 levels higher than him?
Yeah, very unlikely there, yeah. He tried
But
something.
still, going for it.
It's still a perfect game though. It's 10-0 and 3 dragons to none, Rift to none, all the turrets on the side of Loki as well. It's not a, it's even a perfect game, I think. There was not a single plating going down on the side of Cerberus, if I remember correctly. So I think that's the potential for the ultra perfect game. I am not sure if we have ever seen one.
It's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah.
In modern League of Legends, for literally nothing to go to one team, it's pretty.
Yeah,
you hate to see it. Well, if you're a low-key fan, you love to see it.
Yeah, Loki has looked really good so far this week.
Yeah.
And what are we looking at for Cerberus in the next game? They just got stomped in the first game in a fashion that's not even that easy to talk about. It's not like they were out microed all the time. They just got obliterated.
Here, couple ults laid onto Venus. He takes half his health, but he just walks away. He's the support. He's happy to get those ults dumped on him.
Yeah. Yado had to flash out immediately because he saw the damage coming in from Artifact there.
Two control wards? That area is really controlled near the gate.
Yeah. Cerberus doesn't want to lose control about anything anymore, but I don't think they have a choice here.
Yeah, YT gets hooked. Good stopwatch there to stop the Renekton stun, but it doesn't matter. The back line is just getting absolutely ruined. There's nothing that can be done.
And there's no one even below half HP. Okay, Venus maybe, but oh man. Yado.
Yeah, and this is going to
be the perfect game. Chance
Yado getting hooked
to get a kill back. I will be so mad if Loki runs into the Nexus now. Are they not doing it? It's the perfect game! Wow, we start off the day with an absolutely perfect game from Loki. Looking like the best team so far. Very well coordinated. Insanely crisp communication showing there on stage, especially around the mid lane. I'm very impressed with them. And Cerberus did not get to play League of Legends that day, especially not Knight. Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. I don't even know what to look at for Cerberus.
Yeah,
don't pick Legion yet.
You pretty much have to try to forget everything about this game, because everything went wrong. Yeah, maybe.
I don't think any pick would save. I don't think it was a pick problem in the end. It was just
not really.
Low-key, better team.
And that's even worse for Cerberus. They can't even easily adapt their pick and ban, I think. All the picks were fine. All the matchups were playable. Other than Lee Sin, I think they really need to pick another jungler. But even then, Elise can still snowball out of control against any jungler. And was there any other champ they could have picked? Maybe a better top laner to get priority there?
They could have picked a Xayah.
Go for the Xayah. But to be honest,
I don't think that mattered.
Yeah, I don't think so either, because Kaiser Lux is still supposed to win against Zaya Nautilus, so I think that was just player strength showing there. Bot lane from Loki looking much better.
Yeah, I completely agree. It was just a little bit of a stomp there.
Very hard
Yeah.
game to come back from. Not looking too great for Cerberus. They have not won a single game so far. Yesterday getting 2-0'd. Today already down one game once again. So they really have to come back strong in the next with the next game, or they will lose the first week of VCS play 0-4 and already look like a bottom tier team here.
Absolutely.
One last thing we have to talk about, the MVP. Very hard to think about, I think, in this
Uh,
game.
oh,
I think I'd like to
I'm
give it
not
to
sure.
Artifact.
Yeah,
They had
I
very
think
good
that's
roams. I think everyone played a very good game. Bot lane performed well, but there's no particular player from the bot lane I want to give it to.
yeah. I think Artifact is probably my
Artif
pick.
yeah, Artifact. I think Artifact is a good pick.
Yeah.
And we'll be
Anyway,
back in 6 minutes for the next game to see if Loki can double perfect game Cerberus or if Cerberus has anything to bring to the table today.
yep. See you in a few minutes. Good everyone. We are back here with game 2 of Loki vs Cerberus. Game 1,
Yeah, so far
very
only
one
one
sided.
team played, sadly. I hope we get to see both teams play in the next game.
Yeah, hopefully. Um, I don't really know what Cerberus can take from game 1. It was just sort of a stomp.
As little as possible, probably. And don't pick Lee Sin.
Yep.
And I think this is the second or third time only we align with the official broadcast in terms of MVP, this time for Artifact.
Yep.
They
I think it was.
value different things, but this time we all agree on Artifact. Their great performance on the TF. Is it ban worthy? I'm not quite sure. The power level of TF is very hard to gauge, I think. Most of the time he's picked into matchups where he's very comfortable. Most TF players probably know more about him than his enemies, so he looks stronger than he might actually be. So far, I'm pretty impressed with ADTF. I have to say, a lot of games from Nemesis on Fnatic have looked great on him. And
Yep.
APTF over in NA has looked very strong as well in the hands of Crown, so TF might come back completely into the meta as some kind of a niche counter pick into mid lane matchups, especially into melee matchups, I think.
Yeah, I think that's where he really shines. I don't think it's a necessary ban.
Oh,
Ooh, YT out.
LL in. An interesting substitution. When I researched both players, I thought they were the same because their champion pool seems to be very similar. We have to see if LL can provide us with better lane matchups into the Renekton, or maybe they'll just first pick the Renekton this time because Cerberus has lost a lot of games against Renekton so far, always challenging with Rumble.
Ooh, night out as well. Pot coming in. It's a very different Cerberus already.
Yeah.
I think after game 1, fair enough, Night. Have a night off, mate.
It can't really get any worse, so you can do whatever you want to improve your performance. Because from getting absolutely perfect games, not even getting a single plating, there's really nowhere to go but up. So whatever Pot does this game, it can't be worse than Knight last game.
Yeah,
This will be the
absolutely.
first jungle game from Pot on the official stage. He was the mid laner last split. He was the starting mid laner even. So we get to see him perform on stage as the jungler in this game.
It'll
Not quite.
certainly be interesting how the two different players potentially change the draft. Um,
Yeah, I
I
have to
just hope
say I
that.
have no idea about Pot's jungle champion pool. Maybe he'll bring something mid lane-y, maybe something like in Karthus. I think Karthus has risen to priority, especially in the East now. Interestingly, not really played in the West anymore, but now especially in Korea, he's one of the priority jungle champions. So that's very interesting how that dynamic worked out. He was kind of initiated in Europe, and now Europe does not ever touch him anymore. So maybe some Asian teams over here in VCS can pick up the jungle Karthus as well.
We'll find out. Sejuani being taken out by Loki, I think that just shows they don't want to first pick it. Otherwise, they might have left it to Cerberus to ban.
Yeah,
It's going to be interesting.
it's a. I thought Loki would like to first pick the Sejuani because they have shown so far that they are very, very good at counterpicking the strongest solo laners, especially things like Irelia, maybe Aatrox as well. So, a bit surprised by the early Sejuani ban. Renekton
It is interesting.
as well. Okay.
Yeah, taking out the Renekton. I think they want to play a very different game plan here.
Yeah, this is a very different draft. And Cerberus finally has adapted their bans. They always banned away the Ryze and Yasuo, and we'll see. One of the two will be open. Hopefully, we'll get to see another Ryze played in the VCS. Very different assessment of the Ryze's power level, I think. Some teams just don't touch him at all. Some teams ban him away in the first ban phase, like he's OP. We still don't know how strong the Ryze really is on this patch.
Yeah, it's very hard to get a read on it. I think if Cerberus was to pick the Rise, I think that'd be very dangerous, considering how quickly they lost the last game. The game itself didn't end up being ridiculously fast, but it still ended fairly quickly.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that low-key banned the Karma, considering they had first pick, but they just picked Irelia again. Oh no, they didn't have it last game,
No,
sorry.
no. Aurelia
Irelia
once
first
again the
pick,
first pick, yeah.
but it was yeah.
Was countered by Loki very sufficiently, so let's see if Cerberus can do something like that as well. Aurelia is still a high priority champion. This time Nico is open as well, so Nico Aurelia solo lanes would be a very good possibility for Loki, especially because you can't pick Nico into Aurelia this early on, opening up a very strong solo lane setup for Loki. Oh,
Nah. Well, that's an interesting adaptation for LL. I
no.
like the Nah pick. I like Nah. He's good.
Oh, it actually opens up top lane Yasuo if Hani is able to play that. If Loki
Very.
really wants to challenge, oh, okay, Cerberus pick away the Gragas. Just wanted to say Loki now picks Yasuo Gragas and send the Yasuo top into Nar. That's a counter matchup into him, especially in the later stages of the game. So this opportunity is now gone for Loki. They could still go with the Yasuo into Nar matchup. And
Yep,
Olaf.
it looks like it might be an Olaf pick back. I think. Yeah, I like Olaf as a jungler when you can't pick the Elise till the Sejuani.
Yep. I think Olaf is also
Very
very good into Gragas. He can run him down, murder him, especially in the early game. If he finds him in the jungle, he might be able to kill him, chase him down with his Q. So jungle app matchup
Yep.
should be good. Does Cerberus
I
want to lock in the Yasuo now?
don't think you have to lock it now. I doubt it gets banned.
And by the way, it's the fourth game in the row for Art of Air Force Celebrity on Zaya, still sitting very
Yeah.
comfortably there, down on the bot lane, getting the best bot lane champion every time. Enemy team seems to
Yeah.
be giving up that champion way too often against him.
So the Akali pick as well for mid lane.
Probably, yeah.
Interest. Because that's
Yeah, that's
presumably.
yeah. You can't slot Nar into the mid lane, I think. So
No.
this is a bit of a new kind of draft from Cerberus. Very clear lanes. Usually you want to flex as much as possible in the early stage of the draft, especially if you pick up the solo laners early on. So now Loki can think about the matchups. What do they like? I think Aurelia and Tunar should be fine. So now they can look for a counter matchup into the Akali. Possibly, once again, the TF. ADTF is absolutely fine into Akali. We just saw Nemesis yesterday play it into Caps's Akali. Got solo killed once,
Yeah.
but it was still absolutely fine in the game overall. So I'd like to see another TF performance out of Artifact.
Yeah, we do see the bans on that rise, and the bot lane ban's coming from low key, which makes sense. It's only the bot lane left to pick. Interesting. I'm the VCS has an incredibly low priority on Sivir
And Yumi. I think those two champs
and
are.
Yumi.
Yeah, they really don't like the Sivir. I'm not quite sure why. Usually, if you want to team fight a lot and run at enemies, just pick Sivir. But yeah, no Sivir picks to be seen here. Sivir seems to be a bit of a Western phenomenon. Don't think Korea plays as much Sivir either. Not 100% sure on that. Definitely more than the VCS so far. I think we have only seen. Have we seen a Sivir so far? Maybe once?
I think we've seen one.
Yeah, I think so too. They left open the Nico after I already. Oh, but now it's Nico into Akali. A lot of lane priority for the Nico. There's always the possibility for Akali all-ins, especially on level 6. But yeah, Nico into Akali is an okay matchup for Nico.
Yep, and it looks like it will be the lovers lane as well for Venus and Artifact. With Lux banned out and Nautilus already picked for Cerberus,
Yeah,
I think that's pretty bad.
yeah, pretty free rock on pick here. They waited a long time. Oh, there's the Sivir, maybe Hubbard.
Good, lock it, it's good.
Yeah, exactly.
Do it. Just build lots of AD and press W. That's all you gotta do. You have a really good team to speed up as
Could
well
still
with
be an
a
Astral as well.
Narc.
Oh, it's locked
Good.
in.
I like that.
Nice. Very good
That pair.
adaptation. So I think this time Cerberus I liked Cerberus' team comp last time around as well, say from jungle position. This time I think it's might be even better. A lot of team fighting, especially in terms of ultimates. One assassin that can side lane but also team fight in Akali. So Cerberus overall with a very solid comp in my opinion here. A lot of engage possibilities on Nautilus and Gragas as well as follow up from Gnar. On the other side,
I
Loki.
I kind of think Loki does have the better draft here, though. Um, that's a very strong series of picks.
That's very strong as well. I'm a bit surprised looking at the solo lane allocation from Loki, slotting the Nico into top lane and the Aurelia into the Akali matchup, which is not great, to be honest. The Aurelia probably most of the time wins the early lane, but she never has any kill pressure on Akali, while Akali can pretty easily solo kill an Aurelia on level 6. So I really don't like to see Aurelia slotted into the Akali lane. I think the other way around would have been better. They wanted to have a ranged against ranged matchup in the top lane.
Yeah, in particular, like I think normally playing melee against a ranged top lane is a bad time. When that ranged top laner is Gnar, it's even worse.
Yeah, but
When
Aurelia is
Gnar's
usually
in that
fine
mini
into
form,
Nah. The previous iteration of Aurelia was actually considered a counter into Nah, because she could close the gap and then just kill the mini Nah that had less stats than her. I'm not quite sure about the matchup with the new Aurelia. I would guess it's kind of the same, maybe not quite as strong in the earlier stages, but I still don't really feel like Aurelia would lose this matchup that heavily. We'll see
I
how
feel
Hani will perform on the Nico there. It's another AP Nico, so not going for the split push build, much more focused on team fighting.
I think that's what I think we're almost universally seeing the Super Circuit Nico becoming the standard.
Yeah.
I think it's just a much stronger build. The press the attack on hit Nico has a great lane, but that's about it.
I actually think it's not as good in lane as the AP Nico. It's better 1v1 in the later stages of the game, for sure. And it's not even that bad in team fighting. It's not like an AD Cannon, which can never team fight. I think AD Nico or
That's
on-hit Nico is not actually as bad in team fights. So Super Soaker build is definitely the better choice. It's better for team fighting, especially if you have carries to follow up upon. But I like the on-hit build still. Interesting invade coming in. It's not
Yep.
spotted. I don't think it's spotted there. A question mark ping
No,
comes out of the bot lane, so they sniff something. Something is fishy there.
I think though, if you see this, if they approach from the right angle, which they do, I like the way Venus
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
Celebrity walk.
Venus and Celebrity adapted their path there. Very nicely done.
Yeah, that just looks like a leash, like a long leash, but still just a
Yeah, and
leash.
Gragas is going for the long clear on the Crux. He will not be as fast as the Olaf, so Olaf very possibly looking at a 3 buff start, especially if Gragas is not immediately going a Crux into enemy blue, which why would he do that? There's no real reason for him, looking at his information so far, to do that. Good
Early
adaptation from
trade's going
Loki.
really well for Yano,
Yeah.
getting a lot of damage. But yeah, I
Oh,
don't think Pot has any idea that his
but now there's
buff's
a
gone.
ward coming in from Yado. So if they actually look at the Olaf and not only at the minimap, they could spot out that he's finished the blue buff there.
Yep,
Olaf
but I
seems
think
to
it was
be
called.
aware
It
though.
went
Yeah,
the long way.
yeah,
Yep,
yeah.
I think it was called that ward went down, and they're trying to play the subterfuge. And Pot's going for a gank. It's not going to happen though. Artifact's forced too far back,
Artifact is
and yet this is
struggling a
successful for it.
lot. Man, this is much worse than I expected the matchup to go
Ooh,
early
bot
on.
lane engaged. The Celebrity's taking a lot of damage, and Artifact is just dead.
Stolen away by Pot.
Celebrity might go down as well. Has to burn that heal. Ignite's coming out from. No, actually, no. Ron OP did not use his Ignite. Venus did. Flash from Easy Love also burned that
Ooh, that
hook
was
missile.
close. I think if the hook landed, Venus was dead. Absolutely dead
Yeah.
there. With Ignite
This
still
is a
available
lot
and
of
a whole
VCS
minion
running
wave.
into a tower.
Yeah, much better look so far from the mid and bottom lane from Cerberus. They have already built a very strong early game advantage now, with hitting 700 gold with only laning, and that's while Olaf 3 buffed a pot. So nice start there.
Yep.
Pot
But
gets a
Pot did
bit
get
back.
first blood, so
Yeah.
he is already doing better than the sub he replaced. The perfect game is gone.
And now
Let me-
a celebrity is really struggling the first time this season on Desire early on. Did not go down, but and his flash is still available, so can probably come back into the lane. DNK very comfortable now in the jungle with his blue buff renewed in his own jungle there. So look at the gank
Shifted
here.
flash body slam. Yep, artifact step too far forward. Gets absolutely cleaned up by the Gragas.
Mm.
See you, mate. DNK gives himself away in the bot lane as well. So far,
Good vision game coming out of
pressure
Cerberus, I
wise.
think. They denied the Olaf the early camp just with placing the one ward there in the raptor pit, and now good spotting down in the bot lane once again.
Yeah, and
Game seems to be slowing down a little bit. Early first blood has come in. Yado in full control in the mid lane, so Artifact is just sitting under his turret, trying to last out as many CS as he can.
I
Pot
really am fairly strong at farming under tower, so
Pot has
should be
not
okay.
counted VCS. What was that invade? He should have known that there was no camp available. At least he gets more vision into the enemy jungle. So now perfect information on the Olaf. Once again, they spot him now. So can probably anticipate his gank or invade. Another ward spotting him now. So DNK in full vision of Cerberus. Nice vision game. I like to see what they did here with the early scouting path. And Pot is looking
Yeah,
like a totally different caliber of jungler for Cerberus.
absolutely. He's been exactly where he needs to be, just constantly. We do see Ron up here as well. The flash, but
Ooh,
he gets hooked anyway. He
yeah,
flashed way too early, and
and in a
he
straight
goes for the
line.
spine on the scuttle crab, but that's a kill for Ron picked up. Unfortunate that it went to the Nautilus, but I
Panic
don't think they
Flash
mind.
there. Panic Flash coming out from DNK in a straight line against the Dredge line. You don't
Yeah,
want to see that. Always flash in another direction because, yeah, we just saw what's happening if you flash in a straight line. Now DNK much farther behind. Is still, yeah, he hit level 5 with the Scuttle Crab kill there, but no, he didn't actually kill the
he
Scuttle Crab.
didn't kill it. He smited it for health.
I think he hit level 5 with the ward kill, probably, because he was level 4 before the play started. I'm a bit confused where the XP came from. It's probably the ward there, going down right before he got grabbed. No flash on Olaf, so now no big chase plays on level 6 possible for him. Doesn't look too great this time for Loki. Good adaptation for Cerberus. Ooh,
He is going to go in here onto Yado, but a lot of damage, but in the end doesn't really matter. Just has to use the ult.
yeah, still has this flash available as well. There's no way to kill the Akali if she doesn't use her ult before that, so I guess it's a bit
Yep.
of a priority gank. There was no real kill pressure coming out from Loki, but they at least can re-invade the enemy jungle, and Akali can't follow because of her health bar.
Yep. So they do steal away that blue buff, which is nice, but the hook comes in, does miss. If that had hit, I think we would have seen a real brawl because Yado is actually taking a lot of damage here from Artifact. Gets into the shroud and should be able to deal a lot, but he doesn't have the ultimate. And I really neither does Aurelia actually, but Artifact just gets solo killed. That
Man,
turned.
are we in for a reverse of game one? This
Uh,
looks horrific for Loki. It's not great. They can't really do anything. Bot lane is losing, mid lane is losing very heavily. Jungle is in favor of Pot. Probably not in the 1v1 still, but he has much more pressure on the map. And it's an Olaf without any early game impact. We know how useless Olaf is in the later stages if he did not accelerate the game for his team. So this
Yep,
is very much on Cerberus to lose.
we're getting pretty close to the Olaf being a rocket lunch for the other team, sprinting into die. Easy Love does get the spell shield off on that knockup from Rakan. He might have been in a little bit of trouble had that hit, but he's okay in the end.
Yeah, Silver into Rakan is pretty easy to play. Level 6 is a bit more tricky with the two forms of CC coming in there. You always want to block the knock up and not the charm. So you have to position far away from the Rakan.
DK is going in there, used his ult to get through the barrel.
He has to be insanely careful. Yado can one-shot him.
He can, but Artifact goes in, gets the stun down, the mark's on. I think they might have sniffed that Hani was close by, so they do just disengage. Good decision from Cerberus. They're looking like a completely different team. Are we sure that it's the same team?
Not. I mean, it's two new players in the roster. I'm not sure why it took three very decisive losses for them to try this roster, but this is looking really good for them. LL has been very quiet in the top lane.
But that, to be fair, that's not really a criticism because he hasn't
he's
had
still
to do
ahead in
anything
CS against a very strong laner.
Exactly. He's just quietly winning his lane while Pot has looked fantastic.
As you just alluded to, he also communicated the missing top laner much better than YT did in the previous game. So I think we can credit him for that a little bit. We obviously don't know what the actual communication looks like there, but yeah, last game the top laner did not call his top laner, his enemy top laner missing, so his jungler went down in the early game. This time, much better communication. Yado backs off. He's in a very good spot in this game, ahead of the Irelia, already securing a kill for himself as well. This matchup will not get any better for Irelia the longer the game goes.
No, this is a pretty bad time for Artifact. Not looking nearly as good as he did in game one. And Yado, we get to see how Yado plays from ahead now. We haven't really been able to see that. If he can carry this lead on into the mid and the late, and it'll be a really good sign for Cerberus.
This is the biggest lead so far for Cerberus. They accrued good early game leads in the last series, especially in game one yesterday. They were throwing away everything against Flash, Team Flash, in game one. I think it was something like a 35-minute game, and they didn't really do anything after the early game ended. So I hope we get to see Cerberus much more structured with better approaches to the later stages of the game. Looking at their team composition, as we said in Champ Select, it's a very strong team fight composition with a lot of agency, a lot of engage tools. Should be able to play a fast-paced game here.
Yeah, I think they actually kind of win at most stages of the game, which is a really good thing to say about a team comp. In the mid game, you've got the Akali that can put a lot of 1v1 pressure out. Going later, you also just have a ridiculous amount of peel for a Sivir.
Yeah, I think it's pretty hard to call which team is superior in terms of scaling and pure 5v5. I would give the advantage to Cerberus, I agree, because I see better tools to start fights, to get fights on your terms, and also a much better jungler for the late game fights. But it's not like Loki is not scaling into the late game. They have a very strong mage in the top lane who can control team fights and can create spaces and catches there on the Nico in the top lane. And then Irelia in the late game teamfights is a very strong threat as well. Followed up by Zaya Rakan, obviously one of the strongest duos all through the game. So there are still good chances for Loki, especially if their players are still outperforming.
Easy Love, bad teleport. Teleports into a ward instead of just going to the tower.
And he blows his flash for absolutely nothing. Easy Love, why?
He's done this a few times. Just teleport to the tower, man.
I think overall Isilaf has not looked great so far. One of the struggling players. Ronopi also not the greatest VCS so far in summer. Coming over, good knockup. Look at Aftershock. My God, Aftershock is so broken.
But Ron, ooh, good stopwatch.
Oh,
Gets
there's
out alive.
LL.
Teleport in. Oh no, LL, you're in there. You're on the wrong side of town, but he does get the Mega Narn. Two Nars into the wall here, but Nico goes with the ult. LL's gonna get cleaned up.
Now
Can they get
Yado's
anything on the
here.
backside? Artifact gets knocked. Yado's here. Has potential to stopwatch out a celebrity or buy him time, but down goes Venus. That's one there. Yado, you're in the wrong side of town. Has to use the second ult dash. Never mind, it's already been used. He gets cleaned up by Yado. Artifact now goes in on Easy Love. Easy Love,
Oh,
why
it's
were
a
you still here?
disaster.
So low. And that's
L.
3 kills,
Oh no.
4 kills.
Cerberus throw
Picked
away
up
everything like they did yesterday. Oh man. And disaster strikes there. Overcommitment uh, for the kill. Ronopi with a very good stopwatch deterring the dive there. And then LL coming in very clutch with his teleport, but a bit preemptively maybe. And Artifact had enough time to join in on the fight. Hani with a good ultimate to delay and stun everyone. We have to look at this again. So how did this start off? Celebrity and Venus waiting here for Ronopi to be close enough. Venus does not use his ultimate. He has already used it before on Easy Love, so Ronopi has to flash out. Aftershock is triggered, so Ronopi is pretty much useless in this fight, but he buys a lot of time. Two total
LL,
shots.
he's
Wow.
really in the middle of nowhere. He actually plays this really
Yeah,
well
yeah,
to
yeah.
get into that Mega.
And a
But
lot
at
of
this
damage as
point,
well.
stop the fight. I don't think you want to keep fighting here.
Yeah, and I think Yado overcommitted on
Yado
Celebrity
going
as
for
well.
the top
Flash
off.
here, yeah. One turret shot, and he had to immediately turn on to Venus there, and maybe he looked for a kill on DNK as well. A very late rotation from Pot coming in as the fifth member. Not. Wow,
Oh,
I did not spot that
okay.
actually.
Oh, wow, Pot. Come on, you've got to know how
Oh
long
god.
stopwatch
That's a
is.
tilter. That's a real tilter. He has not played game one, so he
Come
should not be
on.
too tilted from the first game, but wow, that's
That's really bad. You've got to
that's
know how
not
long a
great.
stopwatch is.
So now the game is absolutely even. 24k. We might get to see a very even mid game play out for both teams, and we have already touched upon the chances from both sides in terms of team fighting and setup. And I still think this can be a slugfest in the later stages with very close team fights.
Oh, it absolutely can now. It's going to be a brawl.
Yeah.
Uh, Cerberus does look like they're not letting the wind go fully out of their sails. We'll pick up the Ocean Drake.
First Drake at
But
16 minutes.
yeah, it's been a
Very
slow
low,
game.
very low priority on the bot side objectives. They have secured the Herald for themselves. Did not focus on bot side, so kind of expected. Especially as I mean, Ocean Drake is usually the best early game dragon, but it's also kind of hard to take because it slows everyone down with his auto attacks. So yeah, you really have to have a big priority there to go for the Ocean Drake. I love to see. I really jump around. Looks so cool.
Yeah, we just go into the mid lane to see Artifact farming at 600 APM.
Yeah. Yeah, I
But
don't
yeah, we
know.
will.
Slotted in the bot lane. He can start a split push. Probably he should be able to win against everyone on the other side. That being said, Artifact has now caught up to him, especially once he finishes his first item in the Trinity Force. He might actually be able to 1v1 Yado again. That being said, Yado has Ignite and he does not, so I would still give the advantage over to the Akali.
Yeah, I would give Akali the advantage in that 1v1 for sure.
Especially because even as if Artifact is stronger, it's almost impossible for Artifact to actually land the killing blow, while Akali can decide everything on her terms. If she wants to go for the kill, she can. If she doesn't want, she can just disengage with her 5,000 jumps and insanely broken obscurity. So
Remember when it made you invisible to towers? Remember that was a mechanic, right? Thought it was a good idea.
yeah, an interesting take. I think very
Certainly,
clearly was not.
certainly T is an interesting.
Did you see the Reddit thread the other day? Every certainly
Where
T, every certainly T,
80% of his champions have had something
yeah,
removed.
something like every certainly T champion loses at least one mechanic that that it had at the release. Very funny.
I mean, I think that kind of design is a double-edged sword. Like,
Yeah.
obviously, he's made Overloaded champion, but he's also pushed the envelope and made some really cool champions.
Yeah, I think all his champs are quite cool. They don't hit the mark in terms of balance sometimes, especially looking at the Akali rework. I think that was a bit of a disaster there, but yeah. I think, for example, Yasuo is so cool to watch. Maybe not to play against, but he's great for competitive. Whenever he gets played, we always want to focus on the Yasuo lane, see how his mechanics look. You even can tell differences with challenger players on certainly T-champs. Of course, the mechanics, yeah, the skill cap is sky high for those champions, which is really cool to see.
Exactly. So, yeah, as I said, double-edged sword. He releases a champion, give it 2 weeks. Just play another game for a couple weeks, and then come back. That's something really cool.
So, to be honest, it's probably that way with almost all the champs. Looking at Yumi and Mordekaiser rework was not really that different for
Yumi release. Yumi kind of went in the opposite direction. She was awful at lane.
Yeah, that's true. But there were probably way too many new Yumi players feeding their asses off in solo queue. So that's kind of going the same direction. Maybe not as annoying to play against, but to play with. Looking at bot lane.
Yep. I remember when she came out, I spent about a week banning her so that my support didn't pick it. Didn't want it. I want nothing to do with that.
Still didn't have any opportunity to play Yumi. I want to try her out. I'm a support player most of the time, sometimes top, but yeah, so far Yumi has always been either a bad matchup or banned out for me. I really want to play her as well. So we have kind of gone away from the game, which is
a little bit.
Yeah, I think
it's slowed.
Yeah, it slowed down. We're in kind of a lull state here, and nothing really happening on either side. Both teams are content with farming. Both know that their scaling is quite well. It's quite good, so they're not too scared about any winders.
Well played there by Hardy. Got a lot of damage out on Yano, but might be in a little bit of strife. Pot is here, but doesn't look like they want to set anything up. It is pretty risky diving a Nico at this stage.
Absolutely, with her flash and ult available. Yeah, and she has also built a bit of HP there. No, that item actually doesn't give HP anymore, if I'm correct. So never mind my point there. But it's still hard to dive Nico. A lot of slows coming out of her. The big shield with the ultimate. Now finishing her core build. So she's looking very strong in the mid game. Wow, that looked questionable there. I thought the hook should have landed on Venus. Kind of went through the hook from one side to the other.
Rakan is a very slippery boy.
Yeah.
He's got the grease on.
Now Cerber is looking for the second dragon here, this one, and will give them an advantage in terms of Baron dance. Yeah. Their Baron damage is very high, looking at something like Gnar and Sivir there.
Yeah, this is very difficult for
Megana. Megana's there.
Meganar's active. Ooh, I don't know about jumping in when there's a Meganar. You've just got smacked into the wall. He's about to get mini.
He's still alive. He's still alive.
Never mind. I tell a lie. He's doing fine. Yano does get one on the other side. I just wrote Artifact off.
Yeah, very rightfully so, I think. How did he get out of there? What? Okay, interesting.
Out ahead.
Do they?
Sorry, LK. Sorry.
Yeah, in the end, I think it's a pretty even trade. Maybe even in Cerberus' favor. So fair enough there. The Mountain Drake still goes over to Cerberus. I think they used their Gnar very well to zone off and secure the Mountain Drake, but then they kind of struggled to get out of there. Artifact, I thought, was 1-2 seconds too early. I think if you waited for Mega Gnar to fully expire, that was a better point to engage.
I just want to see how he lived. Yeah. Did he just not get auto attack?
We'll have to see how Easy Love does not finish the kill here. Artifact gets stunned. Very good block, I think, from DNK as well. So there is the...
They just don't right-click him.
No.
Oh, no, it was the Rakan charm. The Rakan charm had all of them.
Yep.
That was so well played.
Venus saving his mid laner there. It looked like he was dead at least one time. I thought that was enough damage to kill him twice at least. But somehow
Yeah.
Artifact got out of there. Nicely done. Very good team fighting so far from Loki. I think we kind of saw in this game that Loki are the better team fighters, even though they lost the early game pretty heavily this time. Now, after seeing
Yeah.
two big brawls, I kind of favor Loki to win. We talked about the team compositions and maybe slightly favored Cerberus there. But looking at the fights, how they played out, I think Loki so far looked like the better team fighting team. Celebrity working on a third item there.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Still insanely even. Look at the gold. It's exactly the same. Okay, 100 gold between the two, but you can't really count that.
That's a control. That's a control war.
Yeah.
That's a huge. No, it is basically dead even. Could really go either way still. We have seen Gyardo playing really well. Even in that last fight, he did pick up a kill in the back line.
Yeah.
So he's definitely still a threat. Artifact thinks he can 1v1 him though, but this isn't a 1v1. Pot's here.
Oh god,
Hello,
Artifact.
Irelia roll. That's not how that goes. Artifact taking a lot of damage, but it doesn't matter because support has arrived. Yado goes down. 500 gold shut down straight into the pocket of DNK. He'll love that one.
Yeah, once again, Venus saving the day of his mid laner. Artifact very
Venus
overzealous, and Venus saving.
so well.
Yeah, Venus on very good Rakan performance. Did not have the greatest early game and laning phase, but now is showing why Rakan is still a very strong champion, even after his multiple nerfs. Very good save there. Yeah, Artifact missing almost everything in the 1v1. Interestingly enough, Yado was not. I thought Yado would be able to kill him more quickly. We have to see if he did not want to invest some of his resources there to get the kill. Because I thought it took too long to kill the Artifact there. Yeah, Ronopi once again on Nautilus. If you remember the yesterday's games, he really did not look great on the Nautilus. Deviated a bit in the first game, went for ranged support for the first time, but now back to his Nautilus and back to not looking great.
I think he's looked better this game. He's had a few
For
hooks
sure,
and a
for
bit
sure.
of unlucky.
His laning phase has been much better. So look at this again.
Yeah, I think that was a really good dodge by Yado. Interesting, spectator client doesn't seem to show the shroud.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit annoying, but just in the end, just gets cleaned up. Venus came in, saved Artifact, and then the cavalry arrived.
Yeah, I think Yado missed one or two auto attacks there to finish the kill. I thought he had the time to kill to get locked down the kill. Also did not invest his ignite. Looked like it was up. Maybe it was not quite up that time, or he just didn't want to invest the ignite, which would be a very weird choice in my opinion. Because why did you pick the summoner if you don't want to invest it?
It does seem like an interesting decision. I imagine it might just have had 1 or 2 seconds left on its cooldown. Otherwise,
Maybe,
you'd think he'd
very possible. I don't see any reason to not use Ignite there. Maybe he thought he would be able to lock down the kill, but Ignite doesn't have that big of a cooldown. You don't really need to save Ignite for anything, so just throw it down there. Aurelia will not profit from healing as well, so Ignite with another very good side effect there against the Aurelia. Next dragon spawning, and Cerberus in a very good position to get a hold of this dragon as well. Bad reset timing from Loki. Yeah.
Loki really not playing around these dragons at all, which is.
Yeah, that was just a very bad reset
not
timing.
The best decision.
I think Loki just completely missed the timer there on the dragon and gave it up for free. Didn't even get anything back. A bit of Baron vision, where as we see DNK clear out 2 wards there. But 2 wards for Infernal Drake, you make that trade every day of the week.
Absolutely. That's a very, very easy trade. Ooh, Easy Love has to use his ult to get out of there, but he does survive. Sivir ult down though, that could potentially matter as we could be building towards the Baron dance. In fact, I think we definitely are.
Yeah. 3 items hit first by Celebrity. And he now has quite a bit of honest to carry the game on the side of Loki. Had very good stat lines yesterday, got double MVP by the official broadcast. We were not too happy with his team fighting and his auto-attacking there, and we have to see his Celebrity.
Yeah, Artifact gets hooked up, does get the ult out, but the Nautilus ult goes in. Ron just dies instantly.
Yado?
DNK shoots back down to Akali in the back line, but no, he's on a little bit of health.
Ooh, he gets stunned.
Stared up by
wow,
Nico.
Honey.
Good fights Yado. This is Cerberus falling apart. There's nothing LL can do. He wasn't involved in most of that fight.
This is
Meganar
very
just
good
gets
Nico
out.
play. This is really, really good Nico play, I think. Hani showing
Yep.
why he wanted the Nico in the top lane. Once again, locking down Yado there. Yado not able to finish off the kill now the second time in the row. Pot is still alive though, so possible steal. Artifact with a flawless duet does not land. Easy love and
Easy
Pot are
love here
there.
as well. They're just going. Oh, he kills Harney, but he does go down, and the Baron is
Oh no,
secured.
LL.
LL, he's still here. I think he was coming in to try and contest. Easy Love's picked up a kill on Artifact in the
Now it's
backline. This
Celebrity
is pretty
versus Easy
real.
Love. Who gets the better
Ricochet's
crit
here.
rolls?
Oh, Celebrity
It's
uses that
Celebrity.
ult. Just press E as soon as he comes
Yeah,
out.
it's Celebrity.
Yeah.
Oh man, Cerberus is really disappointing in the mid and later stages of the game, I have to say. Get all the dragons, all the metrics were in their favors, their favor. I think looking at the neutral perspective with our team names on, almost everyone would give the advantage and the higher kill win percentage over to Cerberus there. But they mess up another team fight. Look at this, Ronopi gets caught, uses his flash and then
Yeah.
re-engages with Q.
Also engaging when you don't like. Look at the Nabar
Yeah.
on LL.
Now it's
He's not
just
going to be
useless
making
there.
so long.
Now focus on Hani. Flashes over the wall, stuns up the Akali, insta gives him with E and Q. LL finally hits Mega now. It actually gets out of there, but yeah, it doesn't matter. Enough kills have been happening there. Baron very risky, but they do not tunnel on Baron, but they go on Pot. Looking for the kill there. Artifact. I think he flashed over the wall. Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Very
So
aggressive
there was
there.
one kill back, but to
The
kill
kill,
the jungler.
yeah, it was a blind kill from Pot. He just threw um, his ultimate, hoping for a Baron steal, and didn't get the Baron steal, but another 300 gold because he killed someone there. Very funny how that
Yep.
worked out. And Easy Laugh with stopwatch.
There was actually one play that we couldn't quite see on the replay, but I just noticed it. When Yado went in on DNK, he went down to double-digit health with an ignite ticking, but ran to the mid lane, popped his W, and healed off the minions, and then got a
Oh,
triumph.
nice.
The
Nicely
only reason
spotted.
why it was so close.
Good
So a
awareness.
little bit bad luck by Yado. He should probably kill. He's probably wondering, excuse me, Olaf, why aren't you dead?
Yeah. 2 times in a row now, Yado has been very unfortunate. Maybe the first time was a bit more of a misplay there, but this time really unfortunate that Olaf didn't go down. Especially looking at the jungler, obviously with Olaf going down, I think LK couldn't proceed to do the Baron, so very crucial timing on the side of like LK, who are now 5k off, 4k ahead and are looking like the favorites to win the game. They are still there are still chances for Cerberus, especially looking at 4-item Sivir soon, 3 items on the Akali, LL still with the threat of a big Gnar ultimate as well. But I think now the chances are very much tilted in the favor of LK. I think probably around 70% to win the game, and only 30 over to Cerberus. Maybe it's even more skewed. I'm not quite sure about the percentages there.
Yeah, I think 70 is probably a good call. The thing is, though, we've seen Loki's plays quite a controlled style,
Yep.
which makes it very hard for Cerberus to find even 50-50 plays that they're going to look for. Oh, Yado's caught on the side here. Venus, again, setting up
Nicely
a kill
done.
for his team. Pops the ult, which might not have been necessary, but it doesn't really matter.
I'm debating between Nico and Drakan for the MVP so far. I think both have played an immaculate game. Hani may be struggling a little bit in the laning phase, but his team fighting has been very good.
If the game was to end now, my MVP vote would 100% go to Venus.
That's very
Hani's
fair.
played very well,
It's
but I
very
think
fair.
Venus really gotten low-key back into this game when they needed it and kept them in it.
It's a very fascinating Rakan performance. Usually you want to give MVP to Rakan to look for engages on flanks. This Rakan actually is the savior of most of his teammates. Multiple times now getting them out of there. Very good delay on CC with ultimate. Very clutch ease to save the life of people like Artifact. So it's a bit of a different Rakan performance, but still a very good one. Everyone starting to recall, no one finishing the dragon. Nice little touch there.
But they will finally pick up a dragon for themselves,
Yeah, it's the
and will
open
start
drake.
the Elder Clock, which I think they absolutely want to see. I don't know if we'll get to the Elder as an objective, but
Yeah, probably
having
on
it
the
having
backside.
it on the map
I think
definitely favors.
next objective, obviously for Loki, will be the next Baron. They can now set up a revision around the next Baron. They didn't really get that much done with the first Dragon Baron. Broke two outer inner turrets, I should say, on mid and bot lane. So no inhibitor turret falling so far. Cerberus is now turtling inside the base. They are still sitting at a 4-item Sivir, who's now working on 100% crit chance. So still a strong team fight. Composition there. Sometimes I think Sivir is a bit overvalued right now on broadcasts because everyone knows about her 500 CS win condition. But we have to say Sivir in a comp that's not a traditional front-to-back team fighting comp, especially on the other side, if she's not playing. If she has to play in a very chaotic setting, is not as strong as she is looking at this very clear tank front line. So
That's true.
especially looking at Loki's team composition, who is the Sivir actually hitting? Probably DNK and Artifact if she jumps on top of him, but the rest of the players is very hard to hit for him. Immediate Baron start. Very aggressive call
Yeah,
from Loki.
I think it's the correct call though. They know that there's very little vision.
Ooh, Venus.
Venus does get caught out here, doesn't get over the wall, but has to flash. Hani, why did they step into that ult
Yeah,
right when
I'm
it was
not sure either. I
if you
thought
are
Ani was
Mexicato,
just dead too, right?
that seems really bad. But they do kill Artifact and stop the Baron, so in the end, not punished for what looked like a pretty clear mistake.
Yeah, really,
But
really big mistake for Loki there. I think the Baron start was okay, but don't camp the other side of the Baron if you don't have complete vision of the red buff area. There was a pink ward denying all the vision. Oh, LL
oh,
gets caught.
Venus goes in, does catch LL. He's very far away from Meganar, but he is very tanky as well. Though it doesn't really matter. DNK taking a lot of damage, flashing forward to potentially get his GA.
Yeah.
LL, he's getting towards Meganar now. He was about to go Mega. Pot goes into the stopwatch. As
Oh,
Artifact
Hani,
goes,
Hani. Can
Pot
Hani
does
turn
get
around
cleaned
this
out.
fight?
Celebrity goes down though. 1-for-1 so far. DNK is so low. They know where he is. They've still got Meganar for a little while here. They're going to start
Artifact
the
has
Baron.
his TP available up in 10 seconds, so Baron is a very risky proposition there for Cerberus.
Yeah, I think I like the fact that they didn't keep going on the Baron. That would have been a poor decision, in my opinion.
I think they're pretty desperate not getting the Baron there. They wanted to snowball the fight into the Baron. Sadly for them, a bit too much damage back to their members, especially Pot going down is obviously very risky then to go for the Baron. Good snipe by Hani on Pot. And
Yeah,
yeah, the game kind of getting more chaotic now. It looked like Loki had the better handle and it looked like they could close out this game. But now losing the fight at Baron, maybe an overcommitment there as well, leads to a more even state once again. This is very
yeah, it was.
unfortunate. This is very unfortunate for Loki because LL got into the bush where they didn't have vision. So they actually got the knock up and they saw the knock up succeeded because they saw the 22 gold on Venus. But they had no, they couldn't focus them. They couldn't auto attack the Gnar because it was not in vision. Very unfortunate how the
Yeah,
interaction worked there.
it's very true. It was also very well played by LL, surviving as long as he did to
Yeah.
get into the Meganar.
Flash, I think, a bit
Uh,
overzealous there from him on the backside. Did not need
little
to
bit.
flash to chase as many Gnar. I think flash on Mega Gnar is so valuable, especially setting up around the Baron, where a lot of walls are available to you. So kind of wasting the big playmaking tool in the flash, which I don't like, but still will be available in 3-4 minutes.
Yeah, might not be available for the next Baron scrap,
And this is
depending
a
on how
nail
well.
biter now. This is our first real close game. I'm very happy to finally get to see one. The next team fight will decide the outcome of the game. Maybe the next two team fights if the team fight is very close. But the next team who's able to win the team fight will immediately get the Baron and probably the Elder Dragon as well. If it's Cerberus, that's a 3-dragon Elder. So
That's
Loki
pretty
needs to
big.
be very careful.
Yeah, we do see people actually cheating down towards this Elder.
Oh, Ron
Almost like
OP.
it's become, oh, Ron OP, he's caught here, he's
Venus
going to
misses
go
the
down.
engage.
It doesn't matter though, Celebrity will get that kill.
It's
Harney
one
with
for one,
the
one for
Nico,
one.
well, only hits LL so far, but he's going to go down. 2 for 2 so far. Artifact diving backwards. Yado's in the front line in that stopwatch.
Celebrity has
Goes
his
into
ult
the
available,
Zodiac
but
as
Easy Love
well.
is there. Easy
Just
Love with a lot
so
of
low.
damage. And this
And
is a
down
good fight for
goes.
Cerberus. Is it? It looked like a good fight for
Yeah, it is.
Cerberus.
It is. Good. It's good.
It's actually a 3 for 2 in favor of Loki so far, but the health
Yeah,
bars are
because of
very
the health
low.
bars.
Yeah. Once again, a bit unfortunate there for Cerberus because they can't really do anything with this one
DK
fight
spotted.
now.
Oh, no, he's not. He
But
must have
where
backed
did you
off.
go? Wow, okay, he's very fast. Okay, yeah, with the Deadman's Plate getting out of there. So Cerberus winning the fight, kind of. If you look at the kills, Loki got out on top, but the actual map position was better for Cerberus there. We kind of saw a bit of the struggles for Easy Love on the Sivir, and especially in the backside of the fight, where he was not close enough to get any auto attacks off. Still dealt a lot of damage there. And let's
Yeah,
focus in on Hani and Celebrity. I think they didn't fight. Oh, very good ultimate on Venus there, and now Hani very low gets
Celebrity not
caught.
doing any damage until
Oh,
now.
yeah, Celebrity now is still full life. Yeah, Yado jumps on top of him. Celebrity still has his ult available. So how does he go down here? Double, very good. Easy Love absolutely obliterates him in this fight. Q double hit on the Zaya. He does not disengage from the Zaya ult.
Oh, we've got another fight here, though.
Elder
As
started.
Pot's bound up and Harney's taking so much damage. Elder's going really low.
And they
Pot
secure the Elder.
steals it. No, sorry.
Whoa!
I
No,
misread.
no.
That was a Nico. It was a Nico.
It's still 1 for
Completely
0 though.
wrong.
LL goes down.
Yeah, no, this is suddenly turning very quickly into the favor of low-key. They got that Elder Dragon. That buff starts working straight away.
Artifact really
yeah,
overestimated his damage there. Sivir just stood there and looked into his eyes and challenged him to 1v1 him, but obviously Sivir now on the late game stage level 18 can just repeatedly auto attack down the strong but not super strong Irelia, especially with a lot of lifesteal now on Isolaf as well. First Elder Dragon goes over to Loki. Not great for Cerberus. But it's actually not as big of a deal for Cerberus as it would have been if Cerberus secured the Elder Dragon. Because one elemental Elder Dragon will not immediately win you every team fight. It's obviously still a big advantage. Oh, Yado has to flash. And we are 40 minutes into the game and still don't really know who will come out on top. By far the longest game so far in this of the season. And it's a very close one. Very interesting to see how both teams will play out. I think EasyLove so far has been the much better ADC in teamfights. Celebrity, once again, I'm not too sure about his Zaya play in teamfights. He has played a lot of games of Zaya, but his teamfighting is not looking too clean on the bird there.
Yeah, but I mean, this Baron is going down quite quickly.
It's in full vision. It's in full vision, and there are only 3 members on the Baron.
Oh, the hook onto DNK. That's not who you want to hook. He just pops that Ragnarok.
Hani with the flank.
Yado gets a kill onto Hani. One answered back by Artifact. He's on top of Easy Love, but he's going to get shredded. Has to run away now. Easy Love just quickly getting some lifesteal off the Raptors.
Sadly, LL does not have his flash available to him. He could have re-engaged there with flash now, ult maybe, but another close fight. We are still not.
I don't know about this disengage by Cerberus. You have an extra man on the map.
Yeah.
A more important man, I should say. Ron went down, but Hani went down for.
Easy Left can frontline in this fight right now. Loki very wisely call off the play. I think that could have been the game-deciding mistake for Loki if they proceeded to do the Baron. Very aggressive approach to go for the Baron repeatedly. Oh, it's a reset for Cerberus. They have to be careful. They all reset. Sivir can't backport. Sivir, yeah, okay, very good. Sivir did not complete the recall. I think that was the Baron immediately going down if Sivir completed the recall. Why is Easy Love coming from there?
I think this Baron is going to come down. He recalled.
Doing? No, he's there.
Easy Love is in the back.
Yeah, he's on the wrong side of the Baron map.
That was really bad, but good Gnar there. Should set up Artifact to die, but LL goes down as
well. Is there.
A lot of damage coming out from Sivir. DNK goes down. Yado looking for an engage as the Olaf comes out of the Guardian Angel.
2 kills going over to Cerberus. So even though the Baron has
In
gone down, maybe once again not deciding the game, of course, 2 kills go back to Cerberus, and they actually have a lot of time now to get the first inhibit of the game. 50-second death timers on DNK. Still don't understand what Easylove was doing there. Why did he go on the wrong side of the Baron pit? He had no flash available, so no opportunity for him to engage into the fight. I kind of questioned that decision. I think if he just stood there on the other side and harassed them with Flash and no, not Flash. I'm sorry, but with his Guardian Angel available, I think there was not the biggest threat on him, especially with the members of Loki focusing down the Baron. So kind of questionable decision making by the Sivir. Only 3 members. Yeah, you could definitely go for the. No, it's a 4. Okay, Artifact is there as well, but don't go there. What are you doing there? There's nothing you can do from that side of the Baron. For some
Yeah,
reason, Venus just feeds. I have no idea what Venus was doing
I
there.
think the idea was to keep Pot out of the pit.
Yeah, for sure, but he could have disengaged more quickly.
Yeah, a little bit unlucky that he got
The
cleaned out
last
by
few
the
team
car.
fights have not been too great from Venus. We credited him with a lot of the early team fights. He played a very good Rakan game so far, but the last 2 team fights he got caught out in the mid lane team fight and did not land his initial knock up there. Still got a few of the charms done, but yeah, not the greatest look there. And now overextending into the very fat and very well farmed Sivir, who has now hit 500 CS. And look at her item build. This is a special.
Active. Triforce.
Yeah, Triforce instead of boots, so still holding on to a bit of movement speed there. One of my solo queue, duo queue mates actually loves to do this on a lot of ADCs. Go for the Trinity instead of boots, because you still get a lot of movement speed with Phage passive, especially if you kill a minion or something like that. And then Sivir ultimate obviously helping out. Sivir passive as well, so I like this adaptation. More damage for him. No lifesteal
Yeah,
though.
and I mean,
I'd like to see a lifesteal item instead of the Guardian Angel, I think.
I think he's running Bloodline.
Yeah, still with Bloodline, I think with a Bloodthirster here or even a Death Dance as his 6th item instead of the Guardian Angel, it would be so hard to kill him. There's no real sufficient burst to kill him on the other side. So you don't need. What is Guardian Angel doing for you? I really don't like the Guardian Angel. I think more lifesteal would have been better.
I tend to agree with you there. But if you look over and contrast that to Celebrity's build, he's got a more of Malmortius and the Mercurial Scimitar. I'm not sure about that Scimitar either. Is that
he's only sitting on 75% crit. I think Zaya really wants to hit 100%. So, yeah, Scimitar looking at the enemy team, it's probably against Yado, because he doesn't want to get caught by Yado's burst. But I think he has his ult available to him. So, I think one of the 2 is not necessary. I'm not quite sure which one I would prefer. I think Scimitar is still a good choice, but maybe not go for Scimitar and.
Oh, but here comes the engage. Pot just goes down instantly. Oh no, Cerberus is getting blown up here. That's 2 immediately.
Hani with a very good flash. Look at Easylove.
Gets Easylove. See you, mate. This is game, I think.
Oh no. Everything just for this team fight? That's so sad.
Yeah, this is second
so
Elder. That
sad.
buff is enormous.
Big blunder by Cerberus, and Loki will finish this game after all of Cerberus gets caught. Yado and LL still alive. I don't really see them doing anything to hold LK off there. 44 seconds until the Easylove will spawn. They can't really win any fight against the second Elder Dragon.
Nope.
Yado gets caught.
Yado is caught as well. Yep, that's game. That's just game.
Wow.
What a disappointing ending.
Yeah, the ending really did not hold up. It's 47 minutes, and it's probably our closest game. No, not probably. Most definitely our closest game so far. Loki turning it around after a very good early game for Cerberus, but this time I think Cerberus looked much better in mid and later stages of the game as well. We saw them actually coming out on top in a lot of map decisions, looking at their objectives, 3 dragons in their favor. We need to see the last team fight again. Very sad how the map just ended. I think. Who got caught first? I can't remember. Pot, right? Yeah. So Pot was too close to the dragon, I think, and then Artifact with a very good engagement on him insta kill. A very good ult once again from Hani as well, with the Nico there catching out enemy ADC. He actually did more than half of the health bar of damage to the enemy Sivir. So Hani stepping up in the top lane for Loki in this game with the Nico pick. I anticipated the Nico, and I think he really performed on the Nico. Nice game.
I agree. Yeah, this is.
Do we
It
not
was a
get
really
any
good game.
replays from the last fight? I really want to see the last fight again. Happened way too fast. We were still talking about other stuff, and then immediately two people were dying, and the game was just over.
Yeah, that was certainly just a straight loss. I'd love to see a replay,
Yeah.
but apparently we are not going to get one.
Maybe maybe we'll get one in a few minutes, or I'm not quite sure what's going on. But Loki in the end coming out with a 2-0 victory. Had to work for it.
Yeah, certainly Cerberus looking a lot better in game 2 with the substitutions that they made.
Finally substituting in Pot and LL there. I'm still not sure why it took them 3 very decisive losses to sub their players in, but they have finally adapted their setup overall, and even though they don't walk away with the win, I think they can definitely build up on this roster. They looked very good in the early game. They looked good in the early game before, but this time they were actually able to transition into later stages of the game as well. So please field those 2 players once again. I want to see more of Pot and LL for Cerberus.
I agree. So the question comes, who are you giving your MVP to?
Oh,
To go
man.
between 2 people.
Oh, that's such a hard choice to make. I think we have to see the last fight again. Someone carried that fight on the side of Cerberus very hard.
Well,
Okay.
I think Artifact was the big player.
Yeah, looking at the chat, it's probably true. But
Yeah,
Artifact in the rest of the game was not great. I don't want to give
exactly.
it to Artifact.
I don't think one fight maketh the MVP.
I think I'm
I'm
leaning
still
towards
torn
Hani.
Yeah, I'm torn between Hani and Venus, but I think Hani had a bigger impact in
Yeah, I
that
think the late game
game.
was better for Hani. I think Venus is an absolute fair MVP after 25 minutes, but after the whole game, I think Hani has a bit of a better claim. Uh,
Yeah,
so
I
let's
agree.
give it to Hani then. So 4 different MVPs so far for LK. Only celebrity for us without an MVP so far. Interestingly enough, the officials have given him MVP 2 times already. So disagreeing there still. So we have 1 MVP for Hani, Artifact, DNK, and Venus each so far. And Loki walking away from this week with a 2-0 match score and 4-0 game score. Strong performance.
Looking good.
Maybe the
Looking
front
real.
runner.
They look good.
Yeah, maybe the front runner for the whole league after after the first week. I'm not quite sure about their competition. Maybe it wasn't the hardest schedule yet, but yeah, coming into second week with a very good claim to establish themselves in the high ranks of VCS teams.
Yeah, I agree.
So it really
So
seems like we don't get to see the team fight again, which is very unfortunate.
that is really quite unfortunate. Would really like to go over that team fight, but I don't think we're going to be seeing it. So I suppose we should pivot to a little bit of talk about the next series.
Yeah, we'll get
Unless
to
you have
see
anything more
Gigabyte
to say on this one?
Marines again. After their very questionable performance
See if they
yesterday.
turn up to play. Yeah,
Yeah,
let's see if they want
hopefully.
to win. 'Cause
They will play their second game on stage. They only played a best of 1, unfortunately, yesterday. So,
yeah, due to time, make up excuses for them. Yeah, no, I think because the thing that really sort of annoyed me is the Gigabyte Marines in the second match looked good. They lost,
yeah,
but I don't think they looked bad by any means.
yeah.
They certainly could have won.
I think that's why I'm kind of leaning towards Gigabyte Marines' victory here. They are playing against QTV, the newcomers, the newly promoted team that played against Dashing Buffaloes in the on the first day. They lost 0-2. I think QTV didn't look too bad, save from Niven, obviously. If you have not seen the play, by the way, go to highlights on my channel here and look at Niven's insane Quinn performance. That will
Ah,
it will make your day. It's a great game from him.
you'll learn a lot.
You'll learn a lot about how to not play Quinn, especially
just do
Quinn against
just do
Baron.
everything Neven. Just do everything Neven didn't do, and you'll probably win some
Yeah,
games.
very good advice there. Probably should probably start with not picking Quinn, but if you really want to insist on picking Quinn, then yeah, look at his game
Yep.
and do everything he didn't do. Especially don't die 4 times solo in the top lane.
Yeah, ideally. Hopefully he does play better today.
I think his first game was fine, so it's kind of unfair
Yeah,
to just judge him on the second game. It was a really weird counter pick. They tried something there. Maybe they thought, okay, Dashing Buffalo is probably a bit of a strong opponent. Maybe leaks above us. We can just throw things at them and maybe see if
yeah,
something sticks. But in the end, it really didn't. But maybe we can just disregard the second game a little bit. Although the other players,
yeah.
especially the mid laner, performed really well. I think their mid laner will be one of the players I have to watch very closely in the next best of three. Genza or Genya. For some reason, his name changes every game, and we'll have to see how he's called today.
Yeah, I agree.
And
It'll be. I think if that second game, if Neven is on a normal top laner and goes even in lane, I think they almost
they
win.
have to be kidding us. This can't be real. this this
I
is
think they just like stats. I think
this is
the
not happening.
cast just love stats. Uh,
What? Have you actually
well,
seen the game play out? He didn't do anything. He was such a useless guy. Oh my god.
yeah, but he did get 6 kills and 14 assists, and I think that's what's being prioritized.
Great. Probably has a very good skill participation stat as well.
Obviously the unofficial broadcast, just a more intellectually honest.
Time MVP
Yeah,
celebrity now, looking like the weakest member on Loki, in my opinion, but he's
I
sitting
don't
at
think he
three
played,
MVPs.
I don't think he played badly. He just
Nah,
wasn't an MVP.
some team fights were not great. I think he's just an average ADC. He's not great. He's okay. He doesn't die a lot, which is great as an ADC, but he doesn't have the biggest damage output either. I think some of his positioning, some of his approaches to team fights, is really not that great. So kind of
Yeah.
don't understand the hype around him from the official broadcast. Maybe he gets to show us some more stuff in the next week when he plays against again.
Yeah, hopefully.
So we'll have a little bit of a pause between this series and the next series. As you can see, 67, I should say, minutes until the next game starts. Gigabyte Marines against QTV. Both teams have not won a single game yet, so one of the two has to win.
Yep,
And that's
someone
very
does have to
exciting.
win.
Will Levi
That will be.
perform today in jungle? He had an insane jungle performance in the second game, and a not so insane ADC performance in the first game, which never happened.
That's a sentence that shouldn't be said.
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
Yeah. But yeah, we should. We'll see you in just over an hour. So go grab something to eat, grab a few friends, and come back and watch some unofficial VCS casting.
Yeah, see you guys in an hour. Thanks for joining us.